Right here, this is what your landscape can look like when you stop guessing at the garden center and start using the right annuals. Every plant in this bed was chosen on purpose. Today, I'm giving you my complete list. Before we get into the list, let me tell you how I chose these plants, because it wasn't just about looks. I chose them based on performance, heat tolerance, drought tolerance, how they behave in a real landscape, not just in perfect conditions at the greenhouse, how much maintenance they actually demand. I've used these plants on hundreds of residential and commercial properties, and they show up for me every single time. Now, some of these love full sun, while others solve shade problems. And a couple even do both, and I'll tell you where to use each one. Let's get into it. Number one on my list is petunias, and I want to be very specific here. In particular, super petunias. Now, regular petunias are fine, but super petunias are on a different level. They're trademark series by proven winners, and what separates them is their vigor. They just keep blooming. They're self-cleaning, meaning you don't have to deadhead them to keep new flowers coming. That's a huge deal in a professional setting where you cannot have someone out there picking spent blooms every other day. Full sun, good drainage. Feed them every 2 weeks with a balanced fertilizer, and they will put on a show from late spring all the way to first frost. My personal favorite for mass plantings, Super Petunia Vista Bubblegum and the Sangria. The color saturation on those is just remarkable. If you're only going to use one trailing plant in your borders and containers this summer, let it be Super Petunia. Number two on the list is Coleus, and this is where I get to solve a problem that a lot of homeowners have, and that is color in the shade. Most flowering annuals want sun. Coleus thrives in shade to partial shade, and the leaf color is extraordinary. We're talking burgundy, lime green, deep red, hot pink, chartreuse, combinations you just wouldn't believe until you see them in person. Now, modern varieties like Kong and Wizard are much more sun tolerant than what your grandmother grew, so you can actually push them into partially sunny beds as well. Here is my professional tip with Coleus. Use it as a thriller plant in your containers. Put it in the center, big, bold foliage, and let a sweet potato vine spill over the edge. That pot will stop people in their tracks, and it'll do it all season long without you doing much of anything. For shade, Coleus is my first call every single time. Number three on the list is Lantana, and I want to talk about Lantana very carefully because there's something you need to know about it before you plant it. In particular, warmer climates, particularly Florida, Texas, Hawaii, parts of the Gulf Coast, Lantana is classified as invasive. It can escape your garden and move into natural areas. So please, before you plant Lantana, check your local invasive species list. Your Cooperative Extension Service Office is a great resource for that, and I'll mention it in the description. Now, for those of you where Lantana is appropriate, Lantana is one of the more drought and heat tolerant annuals that you can put in a landscape. Once it's established, it wants almost nothing from you. It blooms in tight clusters of orange, yellow, red, pink, and white, and it is an absolute magnet for butterflies and hummingbirds. I planted Lantana up against hot south-facing brick walls where nothing else would survive, and it thrived. Check your local invasive species list. If you're in the clear, plant it because this is a performer. Number four on the list is geraniums. And yes, I know geraniums feel like a classic, almost old-fashioned, but after 25 years in the landscape, one thing I've learned, classics become classics for a reason. Coming in red for high visibility foundation plantings, pink for softer cottage style combinations, and also white. All of these colors read beautifully from the street, and they provide that bold, clean curb appeal that homeowners are always after. They're relatively pest resistant, they tolerate heat better than most people think, and deadheading them takes only about 2 minutes. One thing I'll tell you, and this catches a lot of people off guard, don't overwater geraniums. Number five on the list is ferns, in particular Boston ferns and macho ferns. Now, I include ferns on this list because a great landscape isn't only about flowers. It's about texture and fullness, and nothing gives you that lush, tropical layer look like big ferns do. Boston ferns are the classic. You see them on porches and covered patios everywhere. They need humidity and indirect light and consistent moisture, and they'll stay full and beautiful all season long, perfect for a shaded entryway or covered porch. Macho ferns are their big brother, much larger, much bolder fronds, and they make a dramatic statement in a shaded landscape bed or a large floor planter. When I need to fill a large shaded space with presence, that deep, rich green texture that flowers alone can't give you, Macho fern is the answer. Both want shade to partial shade. Keep them moist, get those conditions right, and they'll be stunning all season long. Number 6 on our list is Bougainvillea. Now, if you're in zones 9 through 11, you may know this as a perennial, but for most of the United States, this is going to be an annual. Bougainvillea can be a spectacular, high-impact annual. You can put it in a container or hanging basket in the summer. What you're actually looking at with all that bright pink, purple, red color aren't flowers. They are papery bracts that surround a tiny little white flower, and they love the heat. The hotter and sunnier it gets, the happier the plant is. Here's my professional tip for Bougainvillea. Do not overwater them, and don't give them too much nitrogen. They actually bloom best when they're a little stressed, slightly root bound in their pots, and kept on the dry side. If you pamper them with too much water and fertilizer, you'll get a ton of green leaves and very little color. One quick warning, they do have thorns occasionally, so be mindful of where you place them around walkways. But for pure, explosive tropical color on a sunny patio, nothing beats a Bougainvillea. Number 7 on our list are begonias. And there's a lot of different types of begonias out there. There's wax leaf begonia, there's tuberous begonia, but the one I want to concentrate on is Dragonwing Beonia. Dragonwing is a cane-type begonia with large, glossy, wing-shaped leaves, beautiful foliage, and pendulous clusters of blooms in red and pink that drape downward. It grows much larger than standard wax begonia. We're talking 12 to 24 inches tall, and it makes a real statement in large container or landscape bed. What I love about it professionally is its versatility. It performs in partial shade where most flowering annuals won't even try. It handles heat, it's fairly drought tolerant once established, and it blooms continuously. No deadheading required. For shaded entryways, covered porches, and those tricky spots under a tree canopy where you need color and just can't get anything else to bloom, Dragonwing Beonia is worth consideration. Number 8 on our list is marigolds, and I want to talk about this plant differently than most people do because what this plant provides you is more than just beautiful color. Marigolds, specifically French marigolds, have a natural insect repelling quality. The roots produce a compound that's toxic to soil nematodes, and the strong scent of the foliage deters aphids, whiteflies, and certain beetles above ground. In my designs, I often use marigolds as a border plant around vegetable garden areas or mixed into ornamental beds specifically to provide that natural pest deterrence alongside with the color. It's a strategy I've used for years and it works. Beyond the pest resistance, they prefer full sun, they're heat tolerant, they're easy to maintain. For taller, bolder presence in a mixed border, look at African marigold varieties. Big, bold flowers, hard to miss from the street. Marigolds earn their place on this list twice over. Once for the color, and then once for what they do for the plants around them. Number 9 is not here at the nursery, but it still deserves a spot on this list. Zinnias. And if you want to attract pollinators, butterflies, bees, hummingbirds, there is no annual that does it better. Zinnias are a full sun plant that want heat. They grow fast and they bloom fast, which makes them a great choice if you're trying to fill in a bare bed mid-season. I love using them in large sweeps, a mass of one bold color on a warm mix of orange, red, and yellow because zinnias have this cottage garden naturalistic quality that's different from the neat structured look of geraniums or other plants. They add a sense of abundance that a landscape sometimes needs. One practical note about zinnias, they can develop powdery mildew if conditions are right. Warm, humid conditions with minimal airflow. Provide circulation around the plants. Don't crowd them. Give them space to breathe. Plant them where they have room to grow, give them sun, and then just watch the butterflies arrive. Number 10, my last pick, and honestly a plant that I think is underutilized in residential landscapes, caladiums. If you have a shaded or partially shaded area, and most properties do, caladiums are the single most dramatic, colorful solution I know. The show is all in the foliage. White leaves with green veins, deep red with pink accents, rose and burgundy combinations. The variety is extraordinary. In a shaded bed where you simply can't get most flowering annuals to perform, a mass grouping of caladiums is absolutely breathtaking. Now, a few things to know. Caladiums are grown from tubers, not seeds, and they're treated as annuals in most of the United States. Don't put them out too early. They need warm soil. Wait until the soil temperature is consistently above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or they'll just sit there and sulk. In parts of the deep south in Florida, you may be able to leave the tubers in the ground and they come back. In most of the country, you'll pull them up in the fall if you want to save them for next season, or simply just replant them in the spring. Either way, for shade, for drama, for foliage color, unlike anything else, caladiums earn their place on this list every single time. So there you have it, my top 10 annuals that I reach for time and time again over my 25 years in the green industry. Patunias, Coleus, Lantana, check your local invasive list on that one. Geraniums, Boston fern, macho ferns, Dragonwing Begonias, marigolds, and so much more. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You do not have to use all 10. Pick 3 or 4 that work for your sun exposure, your soil conditions, your climate, and learn those plants well. That is how you build a landscape that looks professional every single year without having to start over. If you have questions about any of these annuals, planting depth, spacing, soil types, leave those questions down in the comments below. I do my best to answer all of the questions on the videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love to have you here as a member of the channel. I produce new content every week, all with one purpose, helping you be better in your landscape. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.